Hi you guys, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be doing my nails. What I'm showing you here is how I have the gel nails on top of my natural nails I had in my last video. And now I'm going to show you the products we're going to be using today. I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to be using chisel acrylic instead of my usual knot polish. I forgot how well I liked this stuff. So right here I'm just showing you that we're going to be, I've already done the prep as far as pushing back the cuticles and taking off the shine. Also, this is going to be the first time I'm using the Mia Secret clear, and I love it. I love that clear, you guys. It works amazing. I'm going to try not to blather through this video because there were a lot of tips that I paused and showed as we went through, so I want to make sure I'm not talking all the way through. So if I interrupt myself, I apologize. But this is supposed to be a tutorial, and I tend to blather on. So right here, I put on those Zoulay's tips. I glued them to my hand. By the way, this is not the pop-off method. I'm putting nails on both my hands, so you guys will get to see my non-dominant hand application, as well as I'm going to hand file the nails, no e-file. So right here I'm just sizing, shaping them, putting them on, making them look even, cuticle to cuticle. Did you guys know this little hack? This is the best way to get your sanding band off your mandrel bit. Just get one of those cuticle nippers. So right here I'm showing you what the nails look like from the side and what I'm getting ready to do with the buffer. Do you see that ledge there? So I'm going to take this sanding band, not buffer, sorry, and only touch the nail tip, not my natural nail. And the reason I'm going slow and zoomed in to show you side views is because a lot of times when we are watching these kind of videos, because they're sped up and that kind of thing, it looks like the person is going on their natural nail. And you might get it every once in a while, but you should be just sanding or blending in the tip. And right here I'm blending them in on the sides so that it looks like they're coming out of your natural nail. So, you know, you're supposed to go larger with your tips rather than smaller. So sometimes you'll have some on the edge there, or, you know, on your side walls that are sticking out. So you just don't want that. You just want to make everything flush. And you don't want to overfile. So they should look like this when you're done. They should blend seamlessly into your natural nail without overfiling, without getting your natural nail filed anymore. Let me go in with a dust brush and some swipe to clean them up one more time. And then I'm going to prime all the nails with my Sky primer. This stuff does stay looking wet and jelly. I'm going in with my Young Nails monomer, the chisel acrylic I showed you, and my Young Nails brush. I realized I just whipped this brush out because I'm used to it. As soon as I did this bead, or maybe it was this finger, I realized I was not going to be using this brush, that I needed to go to my Sky, which is larger, that I'm trying to get used to, and that I actually really like. Look at this acrylic, you guys. This is what I learned on, what I taught myself on, and it's what most local nail supply stores sell and what is used in a lot of nail shops, and I really like it. It dries much quicker than most of the other acrylics like Sky, Young Nails, and Knot Polish, like the top three kind of brands. They give you much more time to work with it, whereas this dries, I wouldn't say it's fast drying, I would say it's medium drying, but you can see that first bead that I put down that I'm covering up right now was already dry. When your acrylic starts looking like mattified or matte in appearance on your nail, that means it's drying. So I go in with a nice bead here, and yeah, you can see this acrylic is definitely just buttery and delicious. I wanted to mention, when you're applying acrylic, you know how you start wiping your sides and you're supposed to wipe your sides and all of that. No one ever taught me this. I just learned it because one of the ways to prevent your nail from becoming wide is to not just wipe the sides, but to angle your brush toward the top, like right there where I'm brushing. Do you see how I'm not just wiping the sides, but I'm actually aiming or pushing the acrylic like in an arch up toward the top? I think I do show you later. I forgot on the thumb to protect my natural nail and blend in my tips with a bead of clear. So that's what I'm doing here. This is the first time I've ever used the Mia Secret Clear. I loved it. When I capped the nails, it was excellent. That stuff definitely dries fast, faster than I'm used to, and it just made me excited. It just really, really worked well. I haven't used it, obviously, on a clear set. That's what your nail should look like once you've got that clear bead on. Really, like, the tips are coming out of your natural nail. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I can't wait to do some clear nails with it and see how clear it actually is once it dries. And the reason I capped these nails, first of all, I like to cap nails. And really on this one I was thinking, you know, I wanted to just have more room to file because I knew I was going to be hand filing. So I just showed you a little slow-mo there of how I pick up my beads. I really push my brush into the acrylic and let the monomer in my brush soak up the bead. And I picked my beads up pretty dry. If you guys start doing that, it's going to change your game. Because as soon as you start working that bead, it isn't dry anymore. You're manipulating more monomer into it, so you're not going to be working with a dry bead. So you just got to find that perfect medium, but drier versus wetter is better. See how I'm working this acrylic toward the center of the nail? So I'm not just wiping my sides, I'm actually like making an arch and pushing the acrylic. Let's see if this is one of the nails I do it on. Look, this brush is amazing. Just really, really, really good brush. Trying to stay not talking so that, because I know what'll happen is I'll be in the middle of a sentence when I have stopped the video to show you guys something, and then I'll have to change the subject or shut up. And so see how I'm patting it into the center? I know there's better examples coming up, so I'll wait till then. See how that bead is a little bit dry around the edges, and see how it isn't now? That's going to give you a bead that looks like this. It's not mattified, but it's starting to mattify, and it's thick and just awesome. So right here, I'm going to be making sure that acrylic isn't on my sidewalls, but I'm going to use my brush to see I'm doing that motion where I'm pushing the acrylic not just away from my sides, but up like in an arch. See that? So I'm angling my brush at an angle to, here's another example. That is crucial. Nobody ever told me that. I never saw or heard that on any video, but it's just critical. As soon as you start doing that as well, your shape is going to change. Your whole game is going to change. Hopefully there's another example. I think I might have slowed it down and like actually showed it. I definitely showed down some filing, like how to hold your brush at a certain angle for certain things that you're looking to do on your nail, and how to get a crisp edge. I've got that in here. I definitely have my non-dominant hand application in here, except I am right-handed, so my right hand, when I do that, I just don't even show you guys the application of my middle finger because it's atrocious. I had to file it for like an hour because it was so thick. But that nail is really crooked, so it was just not good from the start. I do show you guys my genetically twisted pinky nail that I mentioned a few videos back. I do have a curl to both of my pinkies, but on my right hand it's much worse, and I can't straighten it. So it's not hard for me to get a nail tip on or apply nails to it because I'm used to it, but it definitely, you know, might look strange to someone else or look like the nails aren't crooked. See, here you go, where I am tilting my brush at an angle, like a 45-degree angle. Oh gosh, I'm sure you guys see and get what I'm saying, but I'm not explaining it correctly. You need to push your acrylic. I don't want to say arch, I don't want to say apex because those are not the right words, but you need to push your acrylic in an arch, like enhance the C curve instead of just wiping the sides, if that makes sense. So give your C curve a higher arch by angling your brush in, like right here. See how I'm angling my brush, not just wiping the sides. I'm going to push the acrylic into an arch. So it doesn't just stay off the sides, it actually stands up taller. Stupid recording bar is in the way, so I can't really see if I'm giving you the shot of that or not, but sorry. Again, I also know it's going to start doing... If you guys hear crickets or anything, you know I'm always outside when I do my voiceovers. I went back to my small brush because I was going to be doing the cuticle bead on my smallest finger, so I just wanted a smaller brush to do that with. I didn't want a mess, so that's why I went back to that brush. I do use this brush for my other pinky and my cuticle area, and I believe for capping pinky, I'm not sure. But what do you guys think of this acrylic? First of all, I don't know if the camera's doing it justice, but in person, this acrylic is literally the exact color of my skin. No other acrylic that I've ever found literally blends in with my skin like this one does. There's just the right amount of yellows and browns and, you know, reds and oranges, whatever it takes to make this color. They just look really, really natural on me. And the reason why, when I decided to put nails on and give myself a full set of nails that were permanent and not pop-offs, and you're probably thinking, how much acrylic is she going to put on this nail? She's loading it up. But when I am done and you see it from the side, before I file it, just right now when it's dry, you'll see it's how it should be. It's not too thick. What was I going to say? I don't remember, but I'll go back to that in a second. What was I saying? Okay, I'm going to stop and go back. Okay, I remember what I was going to say. It was why I was doing a set of nude nails on myself. I've been wanting to put nails on myself, but like the last time that I tried, I get bored with them right away, so I thought, okay, if I want nails, what I should do is a nude set. That way if I want to do some nail art or paint them or change them up, that's cool. I literally have like a color on that matches my skin, and I can have nails on. I don't have to do the pop-off method. Like I can file them normally and all of that. And then I also wanted to say, because I did not say it at the beginning, I used those Zulay tips. Okay, the reason that I bought those 4XL tips was because they're so narrow and so long that I knew once I cut them to a medium length that I would still have a nice coffin shape left over. Whereas if you buy a 2XL coffin nail and cut that to a medium length, you're going to be left with a square nail, and you have to file the sides to turn it back into a coffin. I hate doing that. That's so annoying. So I thought if I buy a really long stiletto and cut it, it will be a coffin, which they are. So that's why I used those nails for this, and just in case anybody was like heartbroken that I cut those really long tips. And the other thing is about that chisel acrylic that I forgot to mention, it being in most local nail supply stores with the quality that it is, that you can see, it's usually about $12 to $15 for a 2-ounce container, and they have every color in the rainbow. The only thing is some of them marble. Most of the marbling can just be blended out. It starts blending when you add monomer and you start manipulating your bead and getting your acrylic on, but sometimes it has little spots of pigment that won't blend out. As soon as you start blending it, you'll literally have a stripe down your nail. And you can't really predict or tell which colors are going to do that, but I have some bright blues and reds that work great. So I'm going to be showing you guys some angles that you need to be holding your file at to be doing hand filing, and some reasons why. So if I slow it down, that's just why. I'll tell you as we go. So this file that I'm using, the red side is a 100 grit and the blue side is a 180. So sometimes I'll be using the harsh side, sometimes I'll be using the more buff side. And what I meant to say the whole entire time, I was trying to tell you guys to aim your acrylic. Let's see what I was stopping here for. Oh, just to show you the nail. I want you to aim your acrylic to make a higher C curve, not just swipe your sides. So put your brush at a 45-degree angle and push your acrylic in an arch to the top, like high center your acrylic. Get it, not only get it off your sides, but get it up high. These are how the Tammy Taylor files come when you order them from Amazon. You will get a new one of those firm bases every time, and then a big old pack of the peely sticks. So that was a new pack of the blue 180s, and so I'm just putting some new files on my personal file, the one I use for myself. So this part of the filing is important. You need to know how to angle your file to do this. So pay attention to like where I'm filing and how, and I will slow it down and tell you, but you need to be going really, really straight. Did you see that where you can see light through it? That's why I'm keeping my file straight right there, and I'm showing you, I'm making that straight, I'm eliminating that light through there. You want to look at it from the sides, and then when you get your side walls, when you lay your file like that up against the side of your nail, you want to make sure that it's straight, as in straight up against your cuticle, but right here, if you're doing a coffin, you're going to want to have that angle I just showed you. And I'm also showing you here that how straight that got. You see how straight that sidewall got from me doing, now I'm going to angle it, from me doing that, eliminating that light that I could see through it. So it's important to look at your nails from all angles, and this is a really good trick. See this, if you turn your nail upside down, you can see the shape of the tip. If you now file and bring your nail, you bring your acrylic back into the shape of your tip. So right here I can see where I need to remove acrylic to make it the shape of the tip, and that will help your shaping tenfold. If you have any questions or didn't understand what I meant by that, just let me know. So right now I'm using the 180 side to kind of buff out the deep scratches that I made with the rough file, and right here I'm going to start doing some cuticle work. So you can see that to avoid shredding my skin and my cuticles, I also have my file at an angle, and I'm using the 180 side. I'm using the less harsh side just because I want, if I dig in right there with the red part, because you can't really see what you're doing, I can end up taking off too much because your acrylic is thin right there, right? So you want to go from the side like this where you can see what you're doing or feel what you're doing. And this is on yourself. Of course, on a client, that's different, and that's why you'll also see me do my hand filing with the client, but leave the cuticle work up to my e-file, because I can tell what I'm doing much better, because I'm not the client in that instance. I can't feel the skin, so I can't feel what's being done to the client. But this way I can feel what's being done to myself, so I know if I'm going in too harsh, lightly, if I'm close to my skin, etc. So you see the angle I'm going to go here to get this apex down. This is just a closer up view of the angle you should be at to be getting in that cuticle area without touching your skin. And when I'm almost finished with this nail, I'm going to show you guys the side view of my middle finger versus my ring finger. And I'm just showing you how nice the cuticle can look with a hand file. And I'm showing you here that my apex is still way too high, so I'm going to take my rough part and just start whittling that down. Once I get it a little bit lower and more trim, then I can go in from the sides like this and shape it up. Because obviously I just took the top off, now I have to shape the hump I was taking off from the sides as well. It's important that you dust your fingers off multiple times while you're going. And there I'm just showing you the thickness. My ring finger needs to be thinned out a little bit, but I'm not going to thin it out with the file because I actually know that I'm going to use my bit right here to make my C-curve a little better. And here I'm going to show you. I'm not really sure if this does show you the right angle, because it is a little close and it is a little slow, and this nail wasn't really the right example to show you with, I don't think, because it was already rounded from the beginning. This is a better show of just how to get your flat, crisp edge there. You just want to be really, really, really straight with that file. Any movement to the left or right is going to give you the wrong shape. Also, did you see how I just thinned out the nails from like adding more C-curve with that tiny little bit of bit that I stuck under there? So that's another little trick, little hack, little thing that makes your life much easier. I just thinned out those nails. And so now I'm going to start on my right hand, my non-dominant hand, which I must say was 100-fold so much easier than the milk bath set, and I don't know why. Maybe because that milk bath set was just, oh, here's my pinky, okay, you guys? You see how really crooked it is, how I can't straighten it. I just straightened my index finger to show you like how much, and then here, where I've stopped it, you see how that finger lays against my ring finger? And I just want to show you that if you look at my finger individually, that tip is on straight, but it's always going to lay angled in toward my ring finger. I'm showing you here the part of your cuticle. When a nail tech says to angle your nails cuticle to cuticle to test the length, that's what they mean, top of your cuticle. Here I'm showing you again the little ledge that you need to get off. And doing this with your non-dominant hand, you have to have your file in reverse. Unless you're a lefty and your file's always in reverse, then you're going to put it on forward to do this step because you're going to be doing your other hand. But here I did have to go on the natural nail just a second because I had to take it down instead of sideways. Same steps, gonna brush it off, wipe it off with swipe, go in with the Chiaroscuro primer, and start in with my acrylic. I did remember to put clear on these first, and you can see how well this Mia Secret clear works. I can use my same liquid to powder ratio without this running all over the place or drying up on me. It was perfect acrylic in my opinion. But I only worked with it to cap and do cuticles. So I'm going to do my pinky first, which is why I'm using my small brush. And if you're only looking at my nail bed here, you can see that that tip is on straight. But you know, once I start holding my hand out and like taking pictures and looking, see the angle, that nail is just crooked and it's always going to lay in and look strange, but I know the tip is on straight. My middle finger of this hand also, the finger isn't not straight, but the nail bed, if you have a chance to look at it before I get that huge hump of acrylic on it, it's really like angled so much, it's pointing toward my nail bed of my middle finger is angled so much it's like pointing toward my index finger. So I'd use my knuckle as my guide to align my tip placement instead of my nail bed, or it would be pointing off in the other direction. Did you see how dry that bead was when I picked it up? But once I get it to my nail, you see how it's creamy? The edges absorb that monomer. If you're picking up beads wetter than that, you're going to have an issue. Another thing I told myself when I was doing this hand, typically I am very careful with my acrylic. I don't waste any. I do like to pull my acrylic off the edge of my nail to get that little cut at the end because I think it gives a sharp look, a little snatched look to the tip, and I like that. See that dry bead? It's not actually dry, but it looks dry. But watch when I place it on the nail, it is not dry. See it? That's the consistency you want. What was I saying? Oh yeah. Anyway, I told myself that there's already enough challenges with this hand. I've got a couple crooked nails, a crooked finger. I'm working with my left hand, which just isn't the norm. I'm working with an acrylic that I haven't worked with in probably over a year. It's working fine, but it is new to me. It's drying a little faster. I have a brush. This is only like the third time I've used it. So there's a lot of like factors that were kind of challenges for me. Do you see how I'm pushing that acrylic up to the high center of the nail instead of just taking it off of my side walls? That is what I mean, you guys. I hope I'm explaining that right. Somebody please put in the comments so I can stop saying it 30 different ways. I hope I'm just saying it right. Anyway, I decided when I was doing this that if I get a flooded cuticle like that, I don't care, I'm just going to fix it. If I get, like when I was capping my nails, I'm going to put on way too much clear and I'm just going to drag it off because I'm just going to get the suckers capped. There is a nail, I think my index finger, I don't show you guys the application on my ring finger because it was atrocious, okay? But you can see that nail bed goes completely sideways. Now you can see the huge hump of a nail on my middle finger. Anyway, right here, when this starts running off the nail, instead of trying to control it and chase it everywhere because I put down too wet of a bead, I just took it off. I'm not going to try to save a bunch of acrylic. I'm just going to make my life easy because it was already hard enough to do this, although it was not as hard as my milk bath set at all. Placing all those flowers and glitters and everything. So you don't have to bounce, you don't have to drag, you can just push your brush, and you can watch the bristles of your brush drain of monomer while you're doing that. And you can see when all the monomer has gone out of your brush, and once you place your bead, it looks mattified like this, where you can work with it, but it's already starting to get that fudge look to it, where it's getting dry. You guys should try it. You guys should just try it. As soon as I saw Tao from Not Polish and V from V Nailed It, one day I was watching, well, I watched them multiple times, but one time I caught on. See how I'm angling that acrylic toward the top and in the shape of the tip? It's going to help you so much, you guys. Anyway, they both, I noticed both, like in the same week, that both of them had like dry, crumbly edges around their beads, and I thought, wow, how are they working with their beads so dry? Because I was definitely not picking up beads that dry, picking up much wetter stuff and, you know, chasing it around and everything. So I tried it, and it instantly changed my game, instantly changed my application. My liquid to powder ratio was done. I was done for it. I didn't need to worry about, do I have it? Is my liquid to powder ratio right? Am I ever going to get it? No. Just from that moment on, it was just game changer. So you guys try that. Also, I did, I think with this bead, I had decided I was just going to put a loose wet bead on and put my finger in a downward angle and just let it run and wipe it off, because I was tired of manipulating it and patting it and trying to get it to stay in place. Oh my gosh. But I, again, will say that this was a much easier time getting the acrylic on here. Once I'm done with this thumb, this video does end. I don't show the filing on my left hand because I literally shut off my camera and went inside and went to sleep and filed them the next day, like inside my house instead of in my nail studio. So I didn't get that on film at all because I was just done. This took too long. See how I'm building the nail to the top, to the center? That's what I've been trying to teach you guys this entire time without having the words. I think 45-degree angle is where you should have your brush, but I didn't want to say that in case someone, you know, attacks me in the comments and says, that's a 74-degree angle or some bullshit. So, oh, after I'm done capping is when this is over. And my little TikTok wasn't much, you guys. So what I did do, I was finished with my left hand. I don't know if you noticed, but when I'm doing the application here, my left hand is finished and it has a matte top coat on it. That is the hand I took a TikTok video of and posted, kind of with, and put on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube Shorts saying, hey, if you want to see this set, I'm doing a YouTube tutorial on it in a couple days. So that TikTok is at the end of this video, just so you can kind of see the finished product, but that is the matte look. I then did remove the matte top coat because I wanted them shiny. After I wore them for a day looking matte, I just decided they would look better shiny, so I took that off, and I was at that time also done filing my right hand, so I just polished them both with Young Nails stain resistant top coat instead of my typical not polished gloss set. I just wanted to switch things up this time, and I did the same exact filing as I always do, and the Young Nails, I should have recorded that, the Young Nails stain resistant top coat separated on me, like my nails were too smooth. So you know, if you buff your nail out too much, how the top coat won't stick. See how quick this secret was drying? But I actually loved it because it gave me just enough time to like really get that clear pushed in there. Like if I were encapsulating something, that would be excellent because I would definitely have it pushed in. Yeah, the stain resistant top coat was separating on me. I had to do 2 coats of it. Since when have you had to do 2 coats of a gel top coat? Way back in the day when we were air drying nail polish, yeah, you might have had to put 2 coats of lacquer top coat, but gel top coat? And again, my nails weren't too soft. I didn't even buff them. I just did the 180, the 100 and the 180 grit. So I don't know why it was separating like that. It literally was behaving like my nails were too smooth and there wasn't a rough enough surface for the gel to adhere to. And I know Young Nails is a much more of like a gel company than acrylic. So maybe that top coat really does need a little bit of a rough surface. Here we go, guys. We're done. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Let me know if you have any questions.